Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me. So, imagine transforming a challenging situation with a simple question. What can I learn? A lot of how we transform our career is with having a positive growth mindset, like thinking positively. To me, that shift is so revolutionary. When you start thinking about okay, visualizing what is it that you want at the end of your career. And I've worked with a lot of clients and I keep saying that to them. Think about what is it that you want as a career. People spend a lot of time thinking about the job they want. No, you should spend time focusing on what is your career path? Where do you see yourself in 5, 10, 20 years? And then build the activities around that. And one of the activities would be a job. Okay, where do I want to work? Who do I want to work with? Because those are very, very tangibly important things, like knowing the people you want to work with. And that begins with transforming your career path with a growth mindset. So many people think they don't deserve the job that they actually want. When you talk to a lot of the clients, they just feel like, oh, wow, no, I'm going to settle for this. But you don't have to. So in this video, we're going to talk a lot about growth mindset, emphasize learning over achievement, transforming growth. So we're going to really dive deep into some of those things, basically, and also add some more things about how do we, conquer anxiety around job search. Because people get. I have a client right now, petrified. She just so always tense. She's in a job search process. So we need to talk about that. So I want to use this video to basically talk about and then think about, how do we have some action plan to basically go through this process. So let's begin. Why does this matter? As I said earlier, I personally believe that a growth mindset really transform how we think about our career potential, fostering resilience, adaptability, continuous development. Again, because we're living in a world currently, and this could probably continue for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years, where AI is transforming how we think about jobs. So lots of people are laying off. Then we see on top of that, government laid off. These are some of the things people probably didn't expect. So we're going to see this continuously. There's uncertainty the job that you have. But if you just think about, what is my career path? And then what are the activities that I'm going to do? So it's important for you to have this mindset, this growth mindset, this positive way of thinking about what does it look like in the future? How do I get the things that I want? Right? Because see the job as just one of the activities that you need to do. Okay, you can do other things. Basically, that culminating in having the career that you want, basically. And I've spoken about some of my other podcasts, so you can check out all those videos where I talk about creating a side hustle. How does a side hustle benefit you and all those things? So I think it's pretty important that we think about that, right? So because the goal is to create this sustainable and fulfilling career path. That's your ultimate goal, not just to find a job, basically, because it's too limiting, too small to think about. The job is just one of the activities that you're doing in this quest to find that career path, right? And don't get me wrong, if you're in your early part of your career path, then it might change. That can change, but at least it will having it even for 5 years will be just what you need to say. Oh, and then you can always change, right? We're absolute will change, but you still need that defining goal, that thing that says that's my North Star. That's what I'm going to follow. That's what I'm going to go after. So, how do we do these things? How do we cultivate this mindset? How do we think about it, right? How do we develop that? One of the things you want to surround yourself with other people that are good, that have this growth mindset. Like you really want to have this other people that's like basically have this growth mindset. I think that's a community of like-minded people is the most powerful things you're going to do, basically. And again, this is not networking, right? Where you're finding. No, these are people that you probably have met somewhere, friends that you've known from school, just a group of like-minded people. They can be people you meet on the internet, basically, that are doing similar things to you, that you're surrounding this thing, what they're doing, how are they doing, examples that are encouraging you, all of these wonderful things that you are trying to do to make sure that it helps you get to where you want to go to, right? So you can start with asking, yourself, like most people say, can I do this? So instead of saying, can I do this? Ask yourself, how can I improve on this? What are the resources that I might need to help me build this skill or to get to these places, right? So we can reframe how we ask the question, basically. So that's where you can start, basically. And again, listen, I'm not going to dive deep into the fixed versus growth mindset. There's a lot of awesome people that have talked about this. Basically, I can give you drop a few that you can read books and stuff like that. But it's really just thinking about this positive way of saying, because I think what happens with people with a fixed mindset, they're smart. Don't get me wrong, but I think the problem is they don't see how they can grow or they can grow to meet something. They believe that whatever I have now, that's it. So if I get this, what I want based on the skills I want, and that can be potentially, a vice president of a company. So it's not a bad thing, but they it becomes a limiting belief when they want something else because they figure, oh, I don't have the skills I need. I don't have the prerequisite I need to get this thing. So they just don't go after it. While people with growth mindset are always improving, always learning, they're constantly improving 1% each time. So they build their life on improving, not just, oh, I'm there and this is it. So the fixed mindset sometimes limits your thinking as to where you are and that's it. And again, that where you are can be really and truly at a high level, but you tell yourself that you come with these skills, you come with these skills, and that's it. You can't onboard new skills, so therefore this is it. Or you study for this in school, and so it creates barrier to learning, right? So it's just thing, you just feel like I can't do this. I maxed out my limit, right? And I've heard about the Peter principles, right? Where you reach a certain limit and you just feel like, oh, I can't go over this limit. No, we can go past that Peter principles, right? Because we all get to that limit where we say, oh, okay. So if you have that growth mindset, you will start thinking, okay, how do I expand this? How do I learn more from this? How do I challenge myself to get these opportunities? And then we start reverse engineering some of those things, basically. So this is what I want. How do I get there? And you start saying, oh, I probably need to join a mastermind group, or you probably need to take some courses somewhere, or you probably need to join a community of like-minded people that you can learn. So there's so many opportunities for you, and there are wonderful people all over the internet that are doing all these wonderful things that you can probably join to see. Just find the right group that works for you. The key for you, though, the key for you is to emphasize learning over achievement. Too often we get caught up in what we achieve, and then we get there, we ask, what's next? Oh, because you've achieved it. So no, always sees as the learning. So you set the goal, you focus on the goal, you go after it, try to embrace the journey, and you can move the stick, that goal stick, each whenever you get there. If you feel like, you know what, there's more room for you to do it, right? You might set a 5-year goal, you go after it, you achieve it, then you can say, okay, fine, I really enjoy this, and you move the goalpost. That's okay if you want to, basically, but try to celebrate the wins. A lot of people, they get there and they just like, oh, move on to the next thing. No, I'm not saying to sit there and go have a party for the next 6 months. I'm just saying, just acknowledge that you achieved it. Just acknowledge that, okay, I actually set this goal. I got it. I learned, and then ask yourself, what did I learn from this? Document or journal what you learned from it. Because then you can always go back to see, oh, wow, okay, this is how I got to this place. These are some of the things that I did to get there. And then you can, okay, I can actually figure out um, how to then grow on that. Like some I'm growing on that. I'm figuring out, okay, fine. Because this growth process, this entire growth process is extremely important for you to understand that, okay, um, I actually learned this. This is how it works. This was a process for achieving it. Okay, wonderful. And then the journey is pretty important, right? Did you value what you were learning? Did it makes real sense for you at all? And then once you figured it out, you just start doing small, consistent improvements. So see it as learning. And yes, I met the goal, but don't overthink the achievement. It's great. Celebrate it. This is what I learned. These are the things I learned. Wonderful, basically. So these are the things I learned from this process. Make it awesome. Move on, basically. So I want to stress that point. A lot of my clients, I keep saying to them, they will get a job and they will sit in this job for 10 years, 15 years, and they don't realize this goes by pretty fast. But within that time frame, they're not learning anything new in that 10. Always seek opportunities to learn new things while you're there, to figure out how can I grow, how can I onboard new skills. All these things are important to embrace that. So if the time come that you have to leave, or some reasons why that you're separated from this company, at least you know that you have onboarded a lot of new skills throughout the tenure. And it doesn't have to be internal, it can be external as well. Can be external, doesn't have to be internal inside a company where you're learning still. That's great. But also think about, how do you learn skills external, such as how do I start a podcast and learn how to public speak, interact with a camera? How do I all the things that you figure that you probably want to learn? I would say go after it within this year so that you onboard really new skills, both internally, which in the company, whatever kind of courses they offer, learn opportunities they offer, take advantage of it, but also external. So, so how do you think of, you want to make sure that you're always getting feedback. So a lot of people tend to just don't even understand how to acknowledge failure. It's fine. Remember, I wouldn't even think of it as failure. Sometimes it's just setback, right? Because sometimes we use the word failure and people just get petrified. They're like, oh, Jesus, no, I can't fail. Don't think of it that way, right? Just think of it as the opportunity to learn, right? So you receive it, you listen. Don't get defensive. Like, really just try to embrace it, reflect, and then how do I respond? How do I learn from this? How do I move forward? How do I grow? Because the aim is to take your feedback and turn it into growth. That's the aim, basically, is to listen and say, okay, all right. So I would say just use the three R's, right? Receive, reflect, respond. So receive, reflect, respond. Think of it that way, basically. So you are asking yourself, okay, what am I learning? What specific action I can use to basically take this feedback and get better for the next time. So that's how you want to go about some of these things. So think it through, take your time, be okay with it, make it positive, and I would just argue your role basically is to always thinking about, how am I going to grow? It's a simple process, right? So you're getting feedback, just receive it, be okay, don't get defensive, listen to it, reflect on what they're saying. Some of it might not doesn't make sense to you. So that's okay. It's okay. But where it makes sense, or for the piece of that feedback makes sense, ask yourself, okay, what actions or what specific actions can I take right now to get better? What have I learned from this process? What have I learned from this feedback that I can use to grow consistently, improve and improve? And these are not overnight success. So again, remember, these are long term. So that's why I said embrace the journey. That's a journey. And I think a lot of you see your first job or your second job as a destination. No, it's just a journey. It's perfectly okay. Onboard new skills. So ask yourself the question, what are the real world successes I'm getting from this, right? The challenges, what are the actions I'm taking? What are the results that you get? Because again, these things also help you in the job interview process, especially in the interview process. Because so many people can't really talk about their success. They can't talk about the results that they got from a project because they never thought about the results, basically. So you have to see it's a mindset shift. It's a mindset shift. Like you're thinking to yourself, okay, um, oh, I did this project. It didn't go so well. I learned from it. I got some feedback. I figured out how to do it well. What was the result you got? What are the actions that you took differently that led to this improved results? There's so many people out there that cannot walk you through that journey because they're not thinking about that process. They just something doesn't go wrong. They just wipe it from their memory totally because they don't want to deal with this concept, not realizing this. This is how we grow. This is how we improve. This is how we get better. Nobody's going out there to just do something and do it poorly. That's not what this is about. You're doing it, but things happen. Challenging situation. We're putting ourselves out there, and something might not go wrong. Use this as an opportunity. Don't blame someone else. No, take ownership of it. Take ownership of it. Said, okay, fine. And we call it this a locus of control, right? So if it's internal, we want to own that. That's internal, meaning that we said, okay, this is my fault. I'm going to blame myself for this. I'm going to learn from this person. I'm going to grow from this. But most people have this external locus of control where it's always someone else's fault. There's always something for. That's the fixed mindset, basically. So you want to reframe, you want to switch that mindset, to have a mindset shift to say, no, focus on the internal locus of control, get the feedback, learn from it, and then look at the actions that you're going to do differently to get you the results that you actually want. So cultivate a growth mindset. So cultivate this growth mindset, right? You can take online courses, like I said. You can read a lot of industry publications, workshops, seminars, mentorship, all of the above really helps. And today, especially in today's world, and I mentioned today, we can get on podcasts and listen to podcasts. We can have the YouTube channels where we're watching YouTube channels. Find a community of people on those platforms that you really enjoy watching. But again, don't just sit there and watch these videos just like you're watching TV. That's not the aim of it. Have your notebook and pen or pencil or whatever. You're taking notes, and then action, right? Action. Always over index on action. So once you get it and you look at it, say, okay, how do I try this? And go and do it. Forget about whether or not you're going to be the worst person doing it in the beginning. No one cares. Just start doing it. Just get out there and do it, basically. And if you feel like you can't really learn from YouTube, okay, fine. Go and get the workshops. Go and get the seminars. Go and get these industry events and industry publications. That's basically the aim. That's how you're going to go about this, to cultivate what I would perceive this growth mindset. This is how you want to go about it, basically. So all of this that plays down into what the career look like. You can use this into job interviews, in leadership, in advancement. Really think about this process. Like start thinking about this process as you're going through it, and especially now, like I said, figure what is that career path. What does it look like 5, 10 years out? In this journey, in this phase of my life. Basically, and I don't know who said it, but remember hearing somebody talk about their whole career journey in phases. I think that was a really good way of thinking about it. I have been myself personally. I think I mentioned this before. at least three, probably three, if not four journeys that I would say, okay, this is a phase of my life. Basically, one phase I was in banking, I would say finance, banking slash hedge fund. Uh, Next phase, I was basically not sure about lecturing, really enjoyed it. And then I'm in the phase of my life where, oh, I actually don't mind teaching people things, but I want to more be on the entrepreneurship side as well. Um, Talking about career, I've really enjoyed it because I felt, personally, I feel that if I had gotten someone to just have a conversation with me about my career path pretty early in my career, I wouldn't have made a lot of mistakes that I've actually made, basically. So I think it's pretty important just to have these guidance and these discussion. So this is the reason why I started this YouTube channel and started my company called Work School. Is really to give people the information and the applications that they need to basically think about, okay, all right, I'm gonna this is the phase I'm in my life. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna set a 5-year goal, a 10-year goal. I'm gonna work on this. And through this process, I am thinking about all of these things that I can actually support people. And you'll find what that works for you. It could be different, totally different, basically. So I would really want to stress, I really want to stress that for most of you who are listening to this video, take action today. Like, figure out, how am I going to take action? Think of what yourself, transform what you're thinking about, the mindset, take action. Look at these feedback, identify where you can fix things, reframe the things that might not work for you right now. Basically, reframe them, ask different questions. Switch words. What can I learn? How can I learn? All these things that make sense to you. And I would just say, just focus on those things right now, basically, as a way to really drive home this narrative of what does my career journey look like? What is the path? What does the end goal look like? At least if it's even, okay, this phase of my life, what is it that I want to do? Because again, there might be other phases. But the thing is, like, for me, I wasn't intentional about a lot of these changes. I was intentional. I got there and just said, okay, fine, I don't want to do this. This looks more. So the goal is to try to be a little bit more intentional. Again, we're never going to be perfect, but just to be a little bit more intentional about some of the things that we will do or can do to drive, to lead our career path. I feel like I'm finally in control of my own career path now. Basically, I went into banking because it was the best thing to do at the time. Basically, number of years in banking, I just realized, I don't really like it. It's great. It's awesome. It makes good money. Lots of people like banking, slash hedge fund, all these things. And I mentioned this before, the thing I learned that I really like, which is venture fund, because it's a part that's associated with um, entrepreneurship and helping people build things and build companies and all these wonderful things. And then I like to teach people these things. So it really culminates for me. Oh, wow. So, I like teaching. I like really um, imparting what I've learned and talk to people about it and just share ideas and concept with people and applications with people. So I like doing this piece of it too. So it's really, really encouraging for you guys to just think about some of these things as you go along in your journey. And how do you want to make this work, right? How do you want to make this work for you? So thank you so much for listening to this wonderful, wonderful time. I'm having a great fun time talking about this one, basically. So if you haven't done so yet, please, I'm also asking you, just hit the subscribe button. This will really, really encourage YouTube just to, YouTube have their funny thing just to make sure that you get access to the content that we're sharing, and they will push this content to you guys. I think if you're not a valuable consumer of this content, you don't need to subscribe. It's okay. It's fine, basically. So I want to make sure that you're actually getting value from it. That's the reason why you're subscribing. And do me a favor, also share it with someone you think would really enjoy this, basically, and really get lots of value from it. More importantly, so have a good day and thank you until next time.